one can deny its temptation. Pulisan Beach is a must-see spot in Likupang.
Lawan samudra terbentang khatulistiwa, di situ ku ada bersamamu saudara. Beragam warna kita, suku tak selalu sama. Kau aku Indonesia yang disatukan karena cinta. Karena kita Indonesia.
Voice of Indonesia.
Hello, voice listener, and welcome back to another episode of VOI Talk. And right now, voice listener, we are currently approaching to the new year with the new things that we are going to face, of course. And of course, right now, we are going to discuss about Indonesia's economic performance in 2025 and the outlook for 2026, where the past year has brought both challenges and opportunities shaped by global uncertainty, policy adjustments, and changing investment dynamics. In this discussion, we'll hear insights from our honorable guest, from Irfan Syauqi on the macroeconomics perspective, and from the entrepreneur Stanley Sebastian, who will share how they navigated 2025 and are preparing their business for the year ahead. And let's begin by taking a closer look at how Indonesia economy performed in 2025 and what factors influenced its growth. And we have the economic observer Irfan Syauqi Beik, and entrepreneur Stanley Sebastian. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
All right. So the first question is going to be for Irfan. So how do you assess Indonesia's economic performance in 2025 and what factors are influencing its growth?
Yeah, if you look at the data that in the first quarter of this year, 2025, we have observed that our economic growth was below 5%. Yeah, it's quite surprising. And if you look at that data, yeah, of course, it means that our economy was under pressure, and because also it is because of the transition process. Yeah, if you look at the regime, the transition from the previous president, Joko Widodo, to President Prabowo. And many were surprised. We at the time, many were witnessing the change in the policy, fundamental and substantial policy that affect the economy by introducing the program of free meal. Free meal takes a lot of our APBN resources, a lot of fund that was absorbed to fund this program. And at the time also, the President Prabowo was introducing the efficiency concept in which the budget was refocused. Many budget allocation that has been agreed previously, it was changed by the current president, and of course, it gave certain impacts. For example, many ministries, institutions, state agencies, including state universities, their budget were cut, and of course, it affect their performance. And these institutions need to adapt with the new policy. But we witnessed that in the second quarter and until now, once we have been in a good adaptation with the new policy, then we can see the changing situation and the economy start to improve again. But if you look at the President Prabowo's target to reach 8%, of course, definitely this year, it was not achieved, but we are still able to maintain the position of the economy to grow up at around 5%, 5.1, 5.2, which is quite good in the mid of challenging situation and global uncertainties. And another hope was offered to us when the new finance minister came into the power, Pak Purbaya, introducing various, you can say, some innovative policy. One of them was taking out the government fund that was saved in the Bank Indonesia, and then flow it into the economy. Inject this 200 trillion into the economy. However, one of the weaknesses of this policy is that the process, and if we look at the reality, if we look at the economy at the bottom level, that this 200 trillion rupiah fund was not properly channeled, especially to the small and medium enterprise, SME. So, because to me, if we want to make significant change, fundamental changes, then SMEs should be our priority. But the problem is, you just channel the funds through the state-owned bank, but from the state-owned bank, to me, to my humble observation, that our expectation, to me, is not that good, if you look at the existing situation. So that's why we propose the state-owned bank to make their own channel also, channeling process through, for example, the rural banks, both conventional and Islamic rural banks, because they are always dealing with the micro, small, and medium enterprises. So this segment, they are always, dealing with this segment. So it's better to make it more effective, channeling the funds through these institutions. But we have to acknowledge that the presence of the policy of Pak Purbaya has given us new hope, and we are expecting that this hope still be maintained, until the first quarter next year. But after that, people will see whether these policies are effective or not. These policies are able to lift up the economy to grow further to reach maybe more than 6% next year. So it's a quite challenging situation. And also whether Pak Purbaya has given us his statements are very good, giving us hope, but we want more from him that the economic policy should touch the bottom 40% of the population. We need more fund to be injected to target this bottom 44% of the population. Because if we want to talk about the welfare, the prosperity improvement, you cannot have better and just a welfare situation unless you give more attention towards this bottom 40% of the population.
Okay.
I think that's all.
Okay. Now, I'm going to shift a little bit to the point of view of the entrepreneur. Stanley, what were the main obstacles in opening businesses in 2025 and how did you overcome them? Just by the explanation from Irfan before.
Yeah, hi, Pat. Good afternoon to you all. In 2025, there's a good contraction, good contraction of all the business words. But mainly the challenges in Indonesia, in particular, is the market volatilities. We have also tight liquidities, and also in terms of foreign direct investments. We've always been seen like as the country that is not as receptive in terms of investment. And like what Irfan mentioned is regulatory adjustments, particularly in the financing and investment world, since there's a shift of power in the Ministry of Finance. So we're trying to address these challenges by strengthening our financial discipline. Businesses are prioritizing cash flows. They just only want to invest in cash flow positive projects, and also always diversifying our revenue streams. Us in the venture capital space, we invested heavily in terms of risk management, data analytics for decision making, data-driven decision making, and also cutting costs, which we call operational efficiency. This helped us to stay resilient despite all of these external pressures inside and also outside of the country. From the answers.
Okay, so what factors contributed to the success of your business in 2025, and how did you leverage them to increase profits, Stanley?
Of course, we want to see not only revenue, not only the top line. We want to see the bottom line. We want to see the profit. Where does this cash flow is going? Does any of this project is a leaking bucket, or is it profit generating? So that's why in 2025, since we've seen there's lots of stimulus that's going on and will be continuing in 2026, we're trying to get rid of this revenue stream that isn't going to be our priority, while at the other hand, also try to bring up, I'd say, projects.
Stanley, are you still here with us?
In that sense,
Okay.
because we are anticipating the regulatory change, we've been trying to invest more to identify which are which.
Okay, so Irfan, what are the main challenges that in facing Indonesia's economy in 2026, and how can the government address them?
Yeah. One thing which is also very important is related with the innovation. Our innovation should be increased because in the future we are facing a competition of ideas, competition of innovation that shape the economy because after the COVID-19, the role of the technology has become, extremely even more important than before. And with the new appointment of our chairman of National Research and Innovation Agency, Prof. Arif Satria, I saw also a very good, a kind of hope, in the government position, towards the improvement of the competitiveness level of our industry. Yeah, because if BRIN or BRIN can play its role, to be the bridge, to become the bridge between knowledge and application in the industry, and provide the research that is needed by industry, like for the food security and other strategic sectors and priorities of the government, then we can see a new, trend, for this one. I think if we can maintain this path, then of course our economy will grow up because innovation is really needed, and it in industry must be supported also by the research. And sometimes the problem is the research done by many research institutions or even universities, they are not solving the industrial needs. So this is one thing. I think if this can be maintained and if this can be coordinated properly, then it will give good impact. The second one is when we talk about the free meal and also other economic potential like Hajj and Umroh economic ecosystem, for example, if we are able to develop an integrated ecosystem that involves the SMEs, so this will also affect our economy because the opportunity now the SMEs need new opportunities to expand their business to the areas that we have not touched so much, like the Hajj and Umrah ecosystem, or halal industry, for example, or other sectors, like renewable energy, and also the industries that are related with the sustainability, including forestation and other sectors. So if we can include them, in the scenario to empower the economy, to find the new opportunities, that will affect also the welfare level of the people. That's why the government in the next, in the next budget year, in the year 2026, must always be with these SMEs, including when we talk about the free meal. Now, if we look at the ecosystem which is developed through this free meal program, we can see in some areas now it can stimulate the economy to grow up. It can stimulate the demand for certain products, agricultural products, which are based on the local resources. So this is a good sign, and this has to be maintained. And the room for corruption, must be closed. So the government needs to take stronger action to mitigate any possibilities for corrupted policies or action in the field, so that people on the field, they will not, their room for doing the corruption must be, minimized. So this is another thing that needs to be done by the government.
Okay, now coming back to Stanley. How do you address the challenges of regulatory and policy changes, just like mentioned by Irfan before, in 2026? And what steps are you taking to improve your business adaptability? Is it maybe like cooperating with other countries, perhaps?
Yes, of course. We want to bring in these technologies, these people, these talents, this knowledge to our country, especially on the key national priorities programs. We want to ensure that the growth of the nation is also in synergy with our um, commercially viable, and also we can make a structure that is sustainable. So yeah, again, what's mentioned by Irfan, all these like sectors um, is the backbone of the country, because with all this global uncertainty remains, 5% GDP growth is Indonesia is outperforming its peers. Mainly it's because of the domestic consumption itself. We have a strong agriculture, food supply chain, food security. It presents a strong growth opportunities. It's double-fold by these free lunch provided by the president. Next year, they will have a 400 trillion Indonesian rupiahs of budget, right? As an entrepreneur, we want to capture this momentum. So we will focus on finding more scalable business models across sectors, more strategic partnerships, bringing in technologies, bringing in partners from outside, from Brazil for agriculture, let's say for renewable energy from Germany, and this technology driven for more efficient operations. So we are also expanding into the sectors. We want to align with the national priorities. I'm in Kadin as well. So in Kadin, we've seen there's four national priorities that we want to support: free lunch, free health checkup, the subsidized housing, 3 million subsidized housing, and also quality migrant workers. That will be the priorities of this huge entrepreneurs in Indonesia currently.
Okay, now for the final question for Pak Irfan. How do you see the investment of prospects in Indonesia in the year of 2026, and what can be done to increase the investment attractiveness to the global market?
Yeah, yeah. One thing which is very important is legal certainty. Yeah. So that that is the factor that is always affecting the investor to come. Yeah. Once they can get, or once they are ensured that, or they are convinced that the government has strong legal certainty. Yeah, I think the investor will always be attracted to enter the Indonesian market. Yeah, and the obstacles that may you know reduce, yeah, the attractiveness of our investment climate, I think needs to be minimized. Yeah, so it is the duty of the government. Just give them the legal certainty and a supported, environmental investment environment friendly. Yeah. So just like Singapore, yeah, including giving tax incentive, yeah, for certain sectors, certain investment areas that affect the needs of the majority of the people. Yeah, so if the government can do this, I believe that in the next year, many will see Indonesia as a good place for investment. Yeah, even now, I've met some Middle East investors. Yeah, they are very attracted to invest in our free meal program. Yeah, even one investor came and asked whether they can finance 1,000 kitchen, yeah, for these services. Yeah, that's just an example, a very simple example. And we need to channel the investment to the real sector of the economy. In other words, foreign direct investment needs to be promoted further, because it will affect, yeah, the real economy and also our ability to provide. Don't forget, the government has made a promise to provide 19 million, yeah, new opportunities, yeah, for the people. So in order to make sure that this will happen, although it may be difficult, and some say that it's very ambitious but not practical in reality, but at least we need to do, or we need to to increase our efforts, yeah, towards that promise. And one of them is by providing certainties to global investors and try to attract them to increase their foreign direct investment to the strategic sectors that will benefit both Indonesia and also the investors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Irfan and Stanley, for coming to this special interview with VOI, and of course, sharing such valuable insights on Indonesia's economic performance and the outlook for the 2026. And in today's discussion shows that while challenges remains, there are strong opportunities ahead through smart policies, resilient businesses, and continued collaboration between the government and also the entrepreneurs. And we hope this conversation offers a useful perspective for our listener, especially you, and of course the viewers also, both in Indonesia and around the world. To listen and tune in to much more information from Indonesia and the world, always stay tuned with us in Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.
Voice of Indonesia.